Hello, hello, hello. Patrick here. 8 Questions with, and welcome to the show. It is a again a cold day here in southeastern Michigan. Still not warming up very much. Had high hopes for a little bit, but today has been doomy and gloomy. But we will be have our day brightened up in a few minutes with the arrival of the lovely Audrey Neal, who is. We're looking forward to talking to her. She is a fast rising actress, and she is currently starring in a sequel to one of the most infamous and famous and fun horror cult films ever made, Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. So they made a sequel to it, and we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking about a lot of other movies that she's popped up in, and she is delightful too. She's really nice, a young lady. Obviously you can see by her picture, she's beautiful, and talking to her, and yeah, she's going to be fun. Hello, Jaden. How are you? Anthony, I saw that. Thank you for the shout out to Anthony. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. So shout out to Anthony Shabbat, who gave us a shout out, and he's got 747 subs on his channel. Yes, congratulations. You're not that far away from 1,000. I'm telling you, you're gonna be catching me here in a minute. Um, so we got some good news today. I got some exciting news I want to share. So I was checking out on Instagram, and I saw that film director Ashleen Clark posted a picture on her Instagram, and she said that this is going to be her. She's gearing up to start her second film, and this looks to be like the shooting place for it. Now, Ashleen had directed, co-wrote, and directed The Devil's Doorway, which is a huge favorite of mine and the Cheetahs. And we've covered the movie. We've reviewed it, and we've covered the movie on the IFC Midnights, and we've also interviewed Ash here on the channel. But finally, so excited to know that she's finally going to be able to get back up and get another movie off the ground. I've been waiting. We all been waiting for very patiently because she's such a talented director. So I'm very excited to share that news with you. Filming should be starting within 2 to 3 months, so we probably won't see the film till next year. Um, that's what I'm thinking. We have to shoot the film, we have to edit it and score it and all that good stuff. Find a distributor, which I do hope is going to be IFC. I do hope that it will be another IFC movie. There's our good friend Echo in the house. Um, so super excited about that for sure. Um, and for this one too, very excited for this interview here as well. We've had a sensational week on the channel. Um, we interviewed Lauren Faulkner yesterday. Had a blast with her. Lola Vegas on Monday. Had a blast with her. Tomorrow we have Angel Bradford will be here with us tomorrow. All in all, this is probably top to bottom one of our best weeks that we've had since in the channel. Um, if we have the crowd like I'm hoping that we will have today and tomorrow, I'm sure that we will have 4 straight shows, which we haven't done before. We've never done this before. We'll have 4 straight shows where we have gone over 100 views on each interview. Now, I know that sounds really tiny to a lot of people, but to us, that's our goal. Every show we do, we try to get a goal of 100 views. That's what we try to do, and so far so good. This week we've done that. Um, as a matter of fact, we're on a three, I guess, 3 interview win list, because last Friday we interviewed Vale and she also went over 100. So we're on a roll here. I do think that we're edging toward we're edging toward to where like people are starting to come in now, um, and I'm really excited about that. And you guys keep showing up, and you guys keep staying. That was really important. A lot of times people come in and then they duck out, but you guys are coming in and you're staying for the whole show. That has really impacted our numbers here. Has really made it really cool. I mean, and also we also know too that that Facebook, that if you watch the show on Facebook, if you can hear my voice and you're watching through Facebook, you are helping the channel out here too. The views that we get in Facebook when you watch it live or replays, it counts as a view here. So that's exciting news, because that's one of the big things about YouTube that we hope to improve, is that, you know, to me, it's like anybody that watches your channel, whether you're signed into the platform or not, the views should be counted. That's just me. But for Facebook, it is counted. So don't feel bad if you don't feel like if you're not watching the interview live here inside the channel. Don't be, because you're still doing it there in Facebook, and you still be able to, you're still going to be able to participate. You just have to give them permission to use your name. You have to give StreamYard permission to use your name. Uh, so if you comment on Facebook and you don't do that, you'll just come back as a Facebook user. But if you sit there and say, yes, I don't mind my name being used, then then it'll show up. And I do check after the show. I want to see who is talking to us. So that's why I want to give shout outs to Min and Shannon, who watched shows this week from Facebook. I appreciate that very much. All right. Um, Also, I guess big news here for us is that our channel got monetized. We are now qualified to be monetized. So I had to fill out some forms and some paperwork and all that other jazz. And yes, we are monetized. I will try to get that done today. And yeah, I'm happy about that. Um, just let you know too that yes, we are monetized, but we're going to be just monetized with this Google AdSense and YouTube. We're not going to be doing super chats. We're not going to be doing stickers. We're not going to be doing memberships, or we're not going to be doing any of that. No, no subscriptions, no nothing of that. We're going to leave that to everybody else. We're glad you're here, and I don't feel like you should have to pay anything to me for being here. Um, if you feel like you want to make a donation or something like that, you can contact me on Instagram. I'll leave that down below. You can contact me privately there. And if you feel like you want to make a donation to the channel or something like that to me, send Cheetah the catnip or whatever. We'll talk about that off. I probably, honestly, more than likely will tell you that if you want to send the Cheetah some treats, I will accept that. But if you want to make a donation to the channel, I will probably ask you to make a donation to the University of Michigan Cancer Hospital. That's where I'll be asking you to do that. I'll be asking you to donate there. That is the hospital that treated my wife, Lori Ann. So if I'm going to get anything out of this, it's going to go toward that. I started my blog. I started it as a way to express myself what we're going through when she was very, very ill. So I just look at this channel as an extension of that. So I'm not gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna exploit that. I'm not gonna have memberships or super chat or try to gain financial, I could use it. I won't lie to you. I'm dead ass broke. But it would dishonor her to sit there and pander for memberships and super chats and stickers and all the other jazz. So, but again, I know some people have commented that they like to donate things to me. And if you do, well, like I said, I'll put my Instagram on there. You can contact me privately there, and we'll see about what you want to do. All right, so there's that. Got that out of the way. I do want to say one thing too. I want to give shout outs to my friends who helped me on this one. I'm going to probably do a formal monetization show once I actually get this thing going. like everybody else says, you got to do a monetization show. You got to do that. You got to celebrate. Again, I'm going to be celebrating in the fact that if you guys want to donate to the University of Michigan Cancer Hospital, you guys can do that, and that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. But I do want to say thanks to Josh Hobbs, first and foremost. Hobbs has been there from day one since my venture started on YouTube. I'm going to give a shout out to our good friend Jason from Horrific Nightmares JM. I really do, every time I do go up, every time I do a show, despite the bumps in the road, I do go up with you in mind. And I want to say thank you for all you did. And it is my belief that we will be doing an IFC show before the end of the year. That is my goal, is to get you up here with me and talk a little IFC. Of course, I want to thank all our friends over at the Midnight Hour, and we got Patrick here from the Echo side. We got a lot of good friends here. Got the professor helping me out at the Midnight Society. Other friends like Gory B Movie and her husband Danny, two terrific people. Ken and Ashley Sledge. You guys here in the chat, Katie just walked in, so Katie and I are launching something. We got something going. We're working on our next project right now. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna be working on it a little bit tonight. Tonight, as a matter of fact, and we're gonna have it up and running. Probably by from a week from Saturday, we're gonna show you what we have planned. Want to give out a shout out to our new friends over at the Friendly Men, who've been helping us out here a little bit on the channel. James and Mark and Jonas and Ant reviews things, and Ben. Betty J Gathers, my mother from who keeps my head on straight. Betty's a terrific lady, and just one of the sweetest people, and she runs a great little chat that I should be doing a lot more in, and I'm grateful that she keeps me in it. Since this month has just been really hard for me in terms of how busy it is. Let's see if I can actually make this a little bigger. Oh, made it too big. All right, that's great right there. Perfect. So yeah. Gosh, I mean, I'm gonna be sitting here during the monetization show. I'll probably do what the Buzz Files did and just write down everybody who's helped me, which is, I can tell you right now, at least 1,068 of you have helped me, because that's how many we're at now. Of course, we have Ava. We got to thank Ava and Doug, and Casey, Mighty Casey, who's endured some really bad movies with us. So there's a lot to celebrate. So I'm looking forward to doing that once I get everything all, cross the T's and dot the I's. All right. And of course, we'll ask you to do the one thing we always ask you to do, and that is to share us out. If you could share us out on your community tab, please tag me when you do that. When you shout me out, tag me. Have Cheetah review, so I can see that. I can go over there and I can say thank you for that. I really like to thank you guys for doing that. Plus, it tells me if you really are sharing me out. Okay, see, I'm being honest with you. But no, I really like to thank anybody who shares me out. All right, so we got the calendar real quick. I'll bring that into play before we have the lovely and delightful Audrey Neal will be here. We had to reschedule this show for a typical Hollywood stuff, which is she's working on an ad campaign, and they changed her work schedule, and so she had to reschedule for today. So that happens a lot. So she'll be here. Her and I talked a couple of weeks ago, and I got to tell you, she's one of the nicest people. She's so sweet, and she has ties to Ohio. Okay, when she mentioned that, I just couldn't. I just shook my head. I said, "Of course you do," because Ohio just seems to be blowing things up, huge, acting wise, movie wise. So I'm not really surprised that that's where she came from. All right, the calendar is coming up. We are rapidly closing up on the end of the month. We are working hard for April. We are putting some things down for April. And May is going to happen. May will be a creators month. We're going to do creators month in May. Means we're going to get some people from the tube out here, from the various different communities, and we're going to be talking to them, and talking about their channels, their experiences on YouTube. We will have a couple of special shows that won't necessarily be creator content, but I think they're important enough to bring anyway. So, including a return from a very cool guest, and can't wait to have him back on. But I will hold off on that until I actually get it booked. So the calendar is as following. Today is Audrey. She'll be here momentarily, of course. And then tomorrow, Angel Bradford will be here at 8 o'clock. The 26th, I forgot to mention this too. On the 26th, I've been totally blasting this by, but I will be hosting the ISC Midnights on behalf of Mary Wilson. Mary Wilson's hosting the show, and we will be talking about the harvest, and that's for the ISC Midnights. I got the banner up there. I'm going to be sharing it out. If you guys if you go up to say upcoming lives, it'll be there. Let's see. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, Audrey just pinged us. She has a little bit of tech problems, but that happens because it's LA. How is that? How does that work? It never fails to amuse me how of all the tech problems we've ever had on this show. We've done over 260 shows now, and the only major tech problem that we've ever had on a consistent basis have been from Los Angeles. And you would think it's home of Silicon Valley, California. You would think with all that, there'd be the least amount of tech problems would be California, and yet it's the worst. So Audrey is working on it and working on her tech issues, and we'll see her in a few seconds here. All right, so the harvest will be on the 26th, and today I can let you know too, because I got to make this banner up today. Anyway, me and the professor will be here on Sunday at 8 o'clock, and we will be talking about 1976's Grizzly. That's right, we're going to be talking about Grizzly. Animal horror has been recently making the news big time. Thanks to Cocaine Bear. There's a lot of people throwing out a lot of animal horror. We got Meth Gator, and we got I don't know something else with a raccoon. Crack-coon is what they're calling it. Crack-coon. I totally don't understand that at all. All right. Well, I'd rather talk about Slimeball-O-Rama and the Bowl-O-Rama. So let's go get our guest, the lovely and talented Audrey Neal.
Hello.
There she is.
Hi.
Hello,
sorry, I was having a
hello.
little technical difficulty over here.
Oh, no problem. You know what though? It happens all the time, Audrey. Of all the places that we go to, and we've been to Europe, we've been to Australia, we've been to South America. The one place that we have with the most tech issues is Los Angeles.
I believe it. I don't know why, but I always have tech issues no matter what.
Yeah, it's home of Silicon Valley. It's one of the biggest, it's one of the busiest cities on the planet, and yet you have a hard time maintaining internet.
Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, it happens to me every time. I had a table read once and literally, sorry, I just poured water and it's like crackling over there. I had a table read once and the entire table read, my internet just kept going out the entire time. And I was just like, this is the worst. I'm so sorry about this.
Now, does the stuff like that, how does that, like, does it interrupt anything? I mean, do they know that sometimes this does happen to people? And have you ever lost as a table read, ever had it been postponed until the next day because of tech issues?
I've never had anything postponed until the next day, but it did almost hurt my chances at the role. Like the director was like, I think it was a very distracting situation. So, but everything ended up working out and we're all good now. And I ended up booking it and everything. So we're all good. Tech issues didn't take over too much there.
Yeah, I love your body of work so far.
Thank
so
you.
much fun. The Sorority Babes and the Slimeball Bowl-O-Rama. I mean, when that movie first came out, that movie hit the ground as a cult classic, instant cult classic. I mean, everybody knew about that movie. Anybody in horror. Back then when it came out, the first movie came out, we actually had horror magazines back then.
I love that.
More than just one. We had Fangoria, we had Famous Monsters, we had Femme Fatales, we had a ton of press back then. So it got a lot of press. It was, it wasn't really designed for the mainstream per se, but it did really, really well as far as that goes. And then it got played, of course, edited, of course, but it got played a lot on USA Up All Night. So that really helped it too. That really helped cement it becoming a cult classic. So a lot of fun for this movie, and we're going to talk about that too, because I mean, to get a chance to go and star in a movie like this, with the history of it, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I mean, getting brought onto it, and I got kind of brought on last minute. What was really cool about it was, one, I had never heard of it. I'm getting more into the horror genre, but once I had looked it up, I was like, holy crap, this is a cult classic. Like, that's kind of amazing. They already have a huge fan base. Like, people were so excited for the second one to come out for years. Like, that's been something that's been anticipated for ages. And the fact that it finally got to come out and I got to be a part of it was amazing. And also, when I got it, like, everyone else had auditioned, but I got contacted from the producer, Cody, and she was like, hey, would you be interested in this role? Here's the script. They're looking at a couple other girls, so you'll have to send in a tape. And I was like, okay, cool, 100%. And as I was reading it, I was probably like 5 pages into the script, and I got an email or got a text from her being like, hey, actually, they love your stuff. We're just going to offer you the role. And I was like, oh my God. So like, and she was like, it was a straight to offer. So I was like, that's amazing. I love everything about that. And so I accepted it. And it actually was in my home state of Ohio. So that was really fun to go back to Ohio.
I mentioned that before you got here that you came, like when you and I first talked, and you told me that, you came from Ohio, and I'm just shaking my head and going like, and I said, of course you are. Because Ohio has just been white hot right now.
Oh, that's my cat over there.
Oh, well, that's all right. What's your cat's name?
Coconut. I have Coconut and Little Guy. Boy and girl, brother and sister.
You can't go wrong with a cat named Coconut.
Exactly. Coconut the kitty. She's the best. She's my little angel baby.
Is that the person helps you with your self-taping?
Sorry? Oh, exactly. Yes. She literally, it's Little Guy who likes to help with my self-taping. Every single time I have the ring light on, he literally comes in, like, especially if I have like a sitting audition where I'll have it like set up as a seat, he'll come up and just sit there and I'm like, little guy, I love you. You got it. I know you're the star of the show, but not today. He can help me with my lines, but yeah. And then they love to eat. They love to like make any noise. Anytime that I'm self-taping, they love to be a distraction. It's like their favorite thing.
Do they talk while you're self-taping? Like when you're doing your scene, are they in the background meowing at you?
They do it. They do a couple little meows. Like my coconut, she meows. She has a really funny meow. She's like a silent meow and then like a meow. She'll be like, like it's really funny. She doesn't like meow, if that makes sense. But she'll be like, ow, or which is hilarious.
So I heard this. I heard that cats in audition tapes equal bookings.
Exactly.
Is it?
That's what I hope for every time they enter. I'm like, you know what? It's fun. Why not?
I'm thinking about this. This is our 260-second show. And I've gotten every booking I've had, and I've had the Cheetah for all those times. There might be something to this.
I love it. Yeah, there might be. I mean, 262, you can't go wrong with that.
Ohio.
I love it. I'm 262. 2662.
But number one in our hearts.
Oh,
I mentioned how you were just one of the nicest people that I got to chat with. We did our little pre-show, which is our little 5-minute pre-show. And before you know it, you and I were just talking like we've known each other for a long time, for like years. It just felt so comfortable and natural.
Oh, for real. You're wonderful to talk to.
I was just thinking to myself, going like, how natural you are, and I can just understand how you get in these roles and getting more and more busier. I mean, your personality really sparkles, and
Thank you.
And that casting directors pay attention to that, and they see that even through self-taping, they see that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So talking to us a little bit about Ohio. Where were you born and raised at in Ohio?
So I am from Columbus, Ohio. I was born in Columbus, which was at Grant Hospital, I believe. But I have actually a crazy birth story. I got switched at birth with another child.
What?
Yeah. So my mom, the night that she went into labor with me, was really funny. So my parents had just gotten home from like a dinner or something. They like went to turn on the faucet. The faucet wasn't working. So my dad went down in the basement and was like, fixing it down there, yelling up to my mom while she was trying to work on it. And when he was down there, the faucet just started like spraying everywhere across the ceiling and everything. And they had to clean it up. And so like right at that night, or right when they got it cleaned up, my mom laid down and she's like, thank God I'm not having this baby tonight. And then of course her water broke and I was on the way. So they went to the hospital. And then when she had me, after 12 hours in labor, watching The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston and Kevin Costner the entire time, because that's a wonderful movie. I wonder why I am how I am. I was listening to that the entire time I was coming into this world. They take the baby to like get him cleaned off and stuff. And when they brought the baby back, they were like, here's your baby. And she's like, that's not my baby. And they're like, no, it is. They look different after. And she was like, no, this is my 5th child. Like, that's not my baby. Like the baby had black hair, didn't look like me. And so she like argued with the nurse. And then finally the nurse like did like blood tests and everything. And they had in fact switched me with an Asian family's baby. Yes. So they had to do the blood work. They had to redo the footprints for us and all that. They had actually my name tag on her and her name tag on me on our little foot, like the ankle name tags. Yeah. So that's my little birth story. And then they named me Audrey, which after Audrey Hepburn, which I mean, it was all fate from there for the acting.
Audrey Hepburn is like a goddess to me.
Yes, my mom loved her so much. She was like, it was either Breakfast at Tiffany's, or Tiffany after Breakfast at Tiffany's, or Audrey after Audrey Hepburn. So they ended up going with Audrey, which at first I was not the happiest about, like growing up, but now I learned to absolutely love it, and it
Oh,
works for me because
yeah, Audrey's a, you don't, some of these older names like that, you don't get to hear a lot anymore. But I think Audrey's a very cool name.
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it definitely it conjures up glamour because I mean, you think about Audrey Hepburn, is the first thing you think of is just how utterly glamorous she was.
Oh, well, thank you. I hope I can live up to her because she's absolutely fabulous. But it's so funny. Growing up, my mom was always like, "You're more of a Marilyn than an Audrey, but you're Audrey in our heart." You know, like it's so funny.
Yeah, Marilyn was also equally talented. I mean, she was very talented and underrated. And it does seem really weird to say this, but it seems like some of the older actors are coming up. I mean, I don't know if he's noticed this in LA or not, but it seems like a lot of the older actors are being recycled forward again, and we're actually appreciating them more now than I think we used to. I
Well,
think we
especially
really
like since Blonde came out for like with Ana de Armas for Marilyn, like, and I know that they're doing a Bob Dylan movie, which I know he was in music, not an actor, but still like older music, older movies. I've seen like a lot of that happening, and I appreciate it, and it makes where we come from and what we do like be more appreciated because like we all stand on the building blocks of what the people did before us.
Would you want to do an autobiography movie? And
I would love.
who would you like to portray if you could portray anybody?
Who? Well, Pam and Marilyn were taken. So, I mean, I would love to do Audrey, but I mean, I don't necessarily know if I fit her as well as some other actresses would because I would want to give like the full credit to the role by all means. I would love to do Audrey. That would be absolutely amazing. Who else? I've never been asked that question. We might have to cycle back to that one and I'll think of it and then I'll let you know at the end here because I'm like, I wonder who I would love to play.
Yeah.
I mean, any like kind of old music people, like I mean, like Fleetwood Mac would be dope, or like like Stevie Nicks.
Christy McVie.
Sorry.
Christy McVie.
Yeah, anyone like that. Joan Jett. I loved the movie. It was with Kirsten Stewart and
The Runaways.
Yes, such a good movie about cherry bomb. Yes, that was a great movie. Like something like that. I think something in music would be really awesome. Like Almost Famous was one of my favorite movies.
I love Joan Jett too. Joan Jett is. I love her for more than just her music though. I love her because she's just an amazing human being. I always wanted to have a shot to do a show with her. I never got that opportunity, but I still like to meet her and tell her I thank you for everything she's done, for her music, but beyond her music. Can you see the chat okay, Audrey?
I can. Are we good on my side?
Good, because I just wanted to let people are coming in they're coming in and say hi. Hi, Tiffany.
Hello, everybody. Oh, the chat. I don't see the chat. Hold on. I don't. Oh, hello. Hi, interweb feed.
Interweb Kaiju. Yes.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah. If you want to know anything about Godzilla, he's the man.
Love that. Hi, friends. Hello.
Mr. Bones also is he is a master of horror. If you want to know anything about horror, Mr. Bones is the main man. If you want to know about really bad movies like Blood Claws and Werewolf Island, our friend Echo Zero can help you out.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Hey, do you mind? I'm just gonna run and fill my water really quick because I've already drank all of it. Is that okay? I'll be like 2 seconds.
No, not at all. No, that's fine.
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I was like, I gotta make sure I'm not thirsty this whole time.
Interviews are fun. So how's everybody doing today? Hope you guys all had a great day today. Definitely hope it was warmer in your part of the world than ours. It is cold as hell here today, and I don't know why. It's that time for the winter to be over with. So it's time for some warm weather. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the interview so far. And we got to meet her two cats, Little Guy and Coconut. I think Coconut's a great name for a cat. That's a really great name for a cat. It's original. I don't think I've ever heard a cat named Coconut before.
Hello. Hi. Got my water.
I was just saying I don't think I've ever met anybody named their cat Coconut before.
Really? It's so funny because I actually my cat's black, and everyone's like, why would you name a black cat Coconut? And I just was like, I just want to name her Coconut. She's a coconut. She's my little Coco, but like I love her.
Yeah.
And she's so tiny. She's like a tiny cat, and then Little Guy, he's actually like a really big cat, so it's really funny. But they're brother and sister, and I got them together, and I absolutely could not separate them. So
well, that's very again, it's very kind of you to do that. Bonded cats are, they always try to get them to be adopted together because they do better together. So sometimes, yeah.
They do. I actually they came in as a litter, and it was about 8 cats, and it was funny because we were at the cat shelter and I was trying to adopt a cat, and we like played with a bunch, and we were like, okay, we're gonna come back in the morning and decide like what we want to do. And then as we were leaving, this guy comes up to us and he was like, hey, you're looking for kittens? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, I just found a box by a dumpster, like I'm bringing them in the morning. And we're like, we'll be here first thing in the morning. And Coconut was like crawling on a cage, meowing, being like, ah, ah. And so I was like, you're mine. And she was the runt of the litter. She actually took like 3 months to actually get, because she couldn't gain weight because she was like a little tiny one. And finally we got her.
I was mentioning about Ohio. So, like I said, it's been white hot right now, and you got your start there.
Yes.
But you moved out to LA. But before that, you were in Columbus. What was growing up in Columbus like? Was it a fun place to grow up in? Were you allowed to say, the University of Michigan without getting beat up, or?
We actually had a lot of Michigan fans. Not a lot. Okay, we had a couple Michigan fans at our high school, but mainly everyone is a Buckeye. We had a couple kids that would show up and be in the blue and yellow or the green and white, and we were like, no, that's not allowed. Because my mom actually, she's retired now and does home health, but she worked at Ohio State as one of the top nurses on a neurosurgery unit for years. Oh. So we were always Buckeyes, true and true. My dad went there. My brother went there. My sister and my other brother went there. My sister still works there. She's a nurse as well on the burn unit. So lots of fun stuff. I'm checking out this chat. So I can't see the chat if I am on the video. And thank you, thank you for the compliments on the cats' names. I appreciate it.
Do you want me to go ahead and I can cover the chat for us both?
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm still looking at it. By all means, I want your guys' comments, and hello to everybody. You guys are all amazing, and thank you for joining in on us. I just want to be able to also see you and chat with you. I wish it was like down here at the bottom of the screen. I just don't know how I can get that to do that.
Yeah, I don't know how that works either. I know the streamer is doing a lot of new things. They're rolling out a lot of new things. Hopefully they'll get that straightened out and make it easier for us to do, going forward.
Yeah.
Are you the only artist in your family? I mean, everybody else seems to be oriented for service, and you are an artist.
Not necessarily. My mom, she wrote children's books. My dad and I, over COVID, when there was not much to do, I was lucky that I was still working in film. But when I was off, because there was a lot of free time for all of us, my dad and I wrote a book about Vietnam, about his time in Vietnam. He was an airborne pathfinder, part of a search and destroy covert op unit called the Blues. And we actually wrote a book that was published on Amazon, and it's called The Blues of Vietnam Story. So his book is wonderfully written. So he is a writer. He also wrote some real estate books. My mom, she did children's books, and she's a wonderful drawer, like absolutely so good. My brother's an amazing painter and drawer. My nephew is a great drawer, and my sister is a creative director, and she's done projects for Sweaty Betty, GQ. She did Marissa Tomei for Vogue. She's done a bunch of different stuff. So, and she's a creative director. So she is where I get a lot of my creative inspiration from.
What was the first thing that you did as far as that go? Taking your first step down your creative journey. Were you a writer first? Were you an actor first? What did you do first to basically get you going?
So I was a dancer first. I dancer and cheerleader and gymnastics. So it started out in gymnastics. I think I got in gymnastics when I was like 3 or 4 years old because it was like the thing to do. And then I remember the time started getting too strenuous between like cheerleading started up at our gym that I did gymnastics at and called Midwest Gymnastics and Cheer in Columbus. And it was going to be like coinciding on the practice time. So my mom was like, do you want to do cheerleading or do you want to do gymnastics? And I was like, let's try cheerleading. So I got on the All-Stars team, did cheerleading, loved being like the showmanship. Like I was definitely like, let's do this, be on stage, have fun, entertain people. I love entertaining people. I'll be that cliche person who says, oh, when I was a kid, I was always like making videos and little shows for my parents, which I was. But I know that's very cliche. That's what pretty much every actor says. But did that. And then also when I was about 8 years old, my cousin got into acting and modeling for commercial work in Columbus because it's like a big market there with Lex Wexner, Schottenstein's, Foot Locker was shot there. A lot of stuff, like a lot of companies start there. And so her parents called my parents and were like, hey, Chelsea's going to do this. Does Audrey want to join her? And so my parents were like, yeah, do you want to? And I was like, hell yeah. So I actually did a Foot Locker commercial. I did Limited 2 when I was a kid. I did a bunch of toy boxes. I did Schottenstein's ads. I did actually McGraw-Hill science books. Like I did all different stuff when I was a kid.
It must have been pretty exciting, when you were growing up, or since you really had nothing to compare it with, did you think that you had a normal childhood, or did you know that you were doing things differently?
I knew I had a normal childhood because I did have a normal, growing up I grew up in Dublin, Ohio. It's very it's a golf town. I mean, if that's just like a perfect way to explain it. We have I think 4 middle schools, 3 high schools, and 8 or 10 elementary schools. So it's a pretty big town, golf town, and we're on the outskirts of Columbus. So it's like a suburb. But growing up there, I had a very normal childhood. I had the whole, I went to school all the time. I did all that, but it was really fun to be oh, I get to miss school today because I have to go film a Foot Locker commercial. I did feel really badass doing that. And I would love to come back when you had the McDonald's with your parents and you'd oh, I just got done half a day. I've been in the studio all day shooting and now I'm coming to school, which was really fun. I wish I would have done more of it, but also I am blessed that I had a normal childhood. So when this does hit and everything and my career blossoms much more, I'll be prepared for it and I'll be mature enough for it. Cause I feel like a lot of child actors can have a lot of shit happen. So
Yeah. I mean, you see all the Disney kids. I mean, a lot of those Disney kids, they just crash and burn so spectacularly. It's like watching NASCAR of the acting. It's like they come out, they get a ton of success, and then afterwards, and they're just they're directionless. I mean, everything is so tightly controlled. What they do, how they look, what they say, that it's no wonder they just crack and they rebel and they strike out because their life hasn't been their own.
Exactly.
Would you, if you had a daughter, would you let your daughter do what you did?
100%. Because I would never. I mean, I want my kids to do when I do have kids. I not right now, but eventually. I would like to let them do whatever they want to do, as long as it's not some real fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Right, but right. I want them if they want to act and stuff. I actually, if I can, I'd like to when I do have kids, I'd like to homeschool them and just have them on set with me, have a tutor with them in my trailer, call it a day. They can get that life, but I'm also going to put them in organized sports and that kind of stuff. I mean, it all depends on where I'm at in life at that point, but that's kind of my plan at this moment. But also, yeah, I would let them act. I would just want to make sure that like I was there to know what was happening with our career, because a lot of shitty stuff can happen throughout the years, and people can put you in weird fucking positions, which I have been put in before. But it's one of those things where I've moved on. I've made sure to stay true to myself and my things and make sure I always stay safe, which is a huge thing because I know bad things can happen. So, but yeah, I would totally let them.
Have you had more? Did you have did you have bad experiences in Ohio, or did that happen? Because I can't imagine that. It'd be too small.
Not in Ohio, especially because like my parents were always there and stuff like that. I'm
Right.
saying more like out here. Like I've had people who, let's say I wasn't interested in dating, but they could have easily like let me audition or do this, but they take away the opportunity because I don't give them the opportunity to date me or something like that. And I'm not trying to sound like totally cocky or anything, but that's just happened. And it's happened to a lot of girls I've known where it's like, if you don't give what they want, then
The casting couch.
yeah, kind of like that, which sucks. It's like, I mean, it hasn't happened in years because luckily everyone that I've been put in positions with recently have all been absolutely awesome. Like I just booked a gig tomorrow and Friday that I'm going to be filming called The Pickup Artist. I have not gotten all the info on it yet, so I don't know all the information, but yes, I mean, luckily I've been surrounded by great people recently. I mean, this was when I first moved out here and things were a lot more sketchier. Social media wasn't as big. Activism against shit like that wasn't as big, which I appreciate that people call people out now. And like, that's not allowed anymore, you know?
It does make your career a lot more easier, especially now, now social media, like, yeah, the cancel culture is it's a dangerous slope, but at the same time, it does hopefully helps keep, people in line, like stay professional, like don't do anything stupid, because you can go from underneath a rock to the spotlight if your behavior is not professional.
Exactly. It's one of those things where like if like most people most people know better now, which is very lucky. I will say social media has made it easier in that aspect to stay safe, but it's also made it harder in the aspect of like TikTokers and influencers and stuff like that, because I don't consider myself a TikToker or an influencer or an Instagram model. I consider myself an actor, and
Right.
it makes it hard because I know TikTokers have kind of overtaken the acting space a lot. So it makes it.
Yeah. It's on, yeah, the pay to play,
Yeah.
is in effect. Yeah, I see that. I see like 4 or 5 different, I guess, crowdsourcing. I see like 4 or 5 of them, and and some of those are really scandalous. Some of them are really scandalous. In fact, I just had an encounter with one, and I'm going to tell you about it because I was actually pretty pissed off about this.
Oh
So
shit.
I don't mind naming a name here. So crowdsourcing, what it is basically, they want to make a movie. You can't, financing is the hardest thing about getting a movie made.
Oh yeah.
So you got all these people coming up there. Okay, I want to raise $50,000. So they start at Indiegogo or or whatnot, something like that, crowdsourcing. And then they go around and they try to get money raised up. Different perks and what have you. So I got a friend request from he was a prominent YouTuber. Now he's moved into movies, doing directing and whatnot. And that was Sean Phillips. He's known as Coup Doodler when he was when he was doing just YouTube, but now he's a filmmaker. So Sean Phillips. So he actually sent me a friend request, which I was totally shocked at. I was like, okay, first of all, I got to make sure this is legit. It was.
Mhm.
It was him. Okay, awesome. So I accepted it. I was like, okay, this is I thought there was a mutual friend, that we both have. I thought that's the reason why, because my friend told him about me, and then whatnot. So I say, well, thanks for the request. It's totally out of the blue. So the first thing he does, he drops all his information for his new movie that he's making.
Mhm.
Say hi, doesn't say anything else. He just dumps it, just like a dump. So I'm like, well, okay, I know you want me to go out there and publicize this for you and everything else. He wants me to share it out with the people and whatnot. But of course, I'm going like, I'm thinking, okay, I'll do that, but I want something back. I want to, it's trade. I'll do this for you, and then you come give me an interview about your movie. So I send that to him. I say, hey, we both can benefit from this. So I don't hear anything back. I don't hear anything back. I get another another dump about it, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do anything until I just don't do that.
Yeah.
So okay, so I don't, and then the following week, I go over there. I was going to say, hey, what can we, because I told him, I says, I understand you're going to be shooting soon, so we could do the interview after your shoot. I go to message him, and he's unfriended me.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like all he did it for was just to dump his crowdsource. That's all he did it for. He didn't do anything other than that. He just came over, saw that has a couple of resources, dumped it, ran, came back, and unfriended me when I didn't respond the way he wanted to.
Yeah, unfortunately, some people just.
I was a first for me. That was a first for me. I'm glad, like I said, like you said too, it's a lot more of an even playing field as far as you don't have to worry about the casting couch, but now you
Yeah.
have to worry about, you're right, you have to worry about the TikTokers and the followers and like if you have 100,000 followers or 500,000 followers, a lot of actors are losing jobs to that, which is really sucks.
They are. I've actually had a lot of friends lose out on jobs to that situation. And it's one of those things where it's like, I was actually at an audition once. It was for like a commercial, so I didn't really care, honestly. But they like went around the room. There were like, I think 5 people in the audition room. And they went around the room, they're like, how many followers do you have? How many followers do you have? How many followers do you have? And then they got to me and I was like, oh, around like 6K. And they were like, what are you doing with yourself? And I was like, not buying followers. Like,
Yeah.
that's literally just how I like responded. I was like, I'm not buying them. I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
That's
Like,
awesome.
and then I walked out and I was like, I did not get that job. Fantastic. Like,
Wow, that's just, I mean, I'm sure that right between the eyes.
yeah, I mean, I didn't even care at that point. It was like it was some commercial that I don't do much commercial work. I'd rather do TV and film, so it's totally okay with me.
I mean, so when you're back in Ohio, I got to go back to Ohio here. I keep on getting distracted.
No worries.
Yeah, it's like, so when you were in Ohio, what did you, acting wise, and you had a great run. Did you keep that all the way through high school? Did you keep acting all the way through? I mean, what led you to decide to come out to Los Angeles?
So I knew for a fact I always wanted to be in LA from the time I was around 8 years old. So my sister actually went to school in Santa Barbara, and she's about 9 years older than me. So when we came out to visit her, she was living in Santa Barbara, and we were there for the Cinco de Mayo festival. And it's where they crack eggs with confetti over your head, and it's like super fun. It's one of the most magical experiences. If anyone is out in Santa Barbara during Cinco de Mayo, I suggest going to the street festivals. It's one of the most fun things in the world. But I remember like that's right when I had started commercial work and stuff too. So it all kind of overlapped, and I like was like, I'm like, when like the confetti was flying around and everyone was just like having fun, I was like, I'm moving out here. This is where I'm going to be. I mean, not technically Santa Barbara, but I was like on the beach in Los Angeles, like, let's go. And so I knew that I always wanted to live in Los Angeles. But then I did have my like awkward phase through like my middle school braces, all that jazz. So I kind of took a break. Then I got into modeling, and then I didn't have my growth spurt like they expected me to have. So I wasn't like tall. I'm like 5'4". So I kind of stayed that height, and modeling didn't work out as much. But then I graduated high school a half a year early. And because I wanted to get out of there. If I could compare any movie to my high school, it's Mean Girls. Like, it was very cliquey. It was very, people were assholes. People were judgy. Like, it was just very, like, if I could compare it, like, we also, that movie came out my freshman year, I believe, or my 8th grade year. And so everyone was like emulating that movie in our high school pretty much. But so I graduated a half year early, went to New York Film Academy in New York. My parents would not let me go to Los Angeles yet because I was only 17 and I was also young for my grade. So like I had just turned 17, like right before my half year of graduation. And my sister lived in New York. So they were like, you can go to New York. Your sister lives there. She's 9 years older than you. She'll take care of you and watch you. You know what I mean? And so I was like, I really wanted to go to LA at this point, but it was just like not an option. So I went to New York Film Academy for their 1-year acting for film program. And then I moved back, kind of got like, I kind of had a weird like lull in it where I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. I'm not sure. So I moved back to Ohio, and then I did move out here. Well, I actually moved to Tahoe for a year with a boyfriend. It was stupid. We'll skip that. But then I made him move down to Los Angeles with me. And I did some acting when I first moved out here, just a little bit. But then I got brought into the styling world, which it was just something that like I was good at. My sister was hiring me. I got to work with her. I got to stay within the family. I was traveling constantly for it. I was going to Palm Springs, Pittsburgh, New York, Portland. Where else did we shoot? We shot a bunch of different places. And this was for American Eagle. We styled the campaigns for American Eagle for years. And I think that was like probably 2013 to 2016 era. And then I did more styling. I almost moved to New York for it. And then when I actually was like top 3 for a big styling job in New York where I would have had to move everything, I got off the phone when they told me that I was top 3 for it. And I just started bawling my eyes out. And I was like, absolutely not. I was like, I need to go act. Acting is my passion. I was like, if I don't do this, I'm going to be miserable the rest of my life. Sure. So I was like, I called them, turned it down immediately, and got my shit back together here.
I'm sure they were like shocked when you said that, right? You know, you gone through the whole thing, and then to the final, you sit there and say, thanks, but no thanks.
Well, the funny thing is they actually ended up, when that all kind of went down, they ended up changing the job position to a much higher position. And my sister ended up getting the job. So it like worked out perfectly. Oh. Everything worked out how it was supposed to. So it just like they changed the entire position. It wasn't anymore from what it was. So it's like I made the right decision to do what I was going to do. So I moved back out here, got a bar job, did my stuff. And then luckily in 2020, when all the bars shut down, I kind of just quit the bar for good. And now I've been full-time acting and modeling and doing that. And I've been lucky enough to.
Let's talk about some of your work too, because I mean you have a nice body of work.
Thank you.
It's definitely you're definitely on the rise. I mean you got a lot of things coming up. But let's talk about some of the very first thing that you booked. According to this, was back in 2014. Was Teacher of the Year. Now was this your first film set altogether, or did you do short films while you're still in Columbus?
I actually did a couple short films and a feature film while I was at New York Film Academy. You can find the feature film somewhere on YouTube. I couldn't tell you what it's called because I don't remember. I mean, I did it years ago and I was a smaller part in it. But that wasn't my first film set I had been on, but it was the first one I had been on with like celebrities, like people who like, I was like, wow, their names in the work. You know what I mean? Like I was shooting with Keegan-Michael Key, Matt Letcher, Larry Joe Campbell, Brenda Strong. Who else was in it? The Sklar twins.
You say Brenda Strong?
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah. So there was a bunch of amazing people on set. And I kind of fed my way in from being an extra to having a couple lines. And I actually played Audrey in the movie because the director was like, I love your name. We're keeping it as Audrey. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So I got lucky enough to work with them, and it was actually really funny. So right around that time, Just Go With It with Adam Sandler and Jennifer Aniston and Brooklyn Decker had just come out. And there's a part with Keegan-Michael Key in it, and I like didn't realize it was him for some reason. But he says this thing where he's like, "Ooh, if Hurricane Katrina can do something, honey, I can do something, honey." And so the next day on set, I had just watched the movie. I was quoting that part all day with Keegan-Michael Key right there, not realizing I was quoting him the whole time. And then like a week later, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was just quoting him the entire time in front of him without realizing I was. But he was one of the kindest people and one of the best people to work with. Always had a smile on his face. Always was absolutely so stellar. Like absolutely amazing.
Do you know what? You know what of his first jobs was?
Sorry?
You know what one of his first jobs was?
What?
The very first time I ever saw Michael Keegan Key was he did a show on Animal Planet. It was sort of like America's Funniest Videos, but for animals.
Oh my God, that's amazing! I had no idea. The first thing I think I had seen him in was Key and Peele and Just Go With It.
Yeah, I remember watching that show, and he has such a great persona and a great voice, and he seemed to be having a lot of fun. And yeah, that was the first thing he ever I remember seeing him do was I forgot what the show was named. I'm sure I could find it out. But yeah, he was the host. He was like the Bob Saget of the host. So he
I love that.
So it sort of made sense when they did Keanu. I was like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, he was so fun to work with, and he was so nice and so pleasant and like so professional and kept the spirits up on set. I mean, Jason Strauss, the director, he was amazing to work with. His wife was amazing. Like everyone on set, it was a very, very great first set. Like, and I got to work with like a lot of amazing actors. Who else was in it? There was a lot there, like all the teachers, all the cast were like, have all been in so many things. So it was really interesting to watch as like my first set, but then also be on it last minute. It was like a last minute booking kind of thing, but it was amazing. And we actually went to a couple film festivals with it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's always good when a film goes to festival, isn't it?
Yeah, it was one in, I believe it was the Long Beach Film Festival, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this was years ago. So I keep like minimal things in my head to memorize lines.
I want to say we got some new folks came into the chat, including our friend screenwriter and director John Oak Dalton. Says, need to see Audrey. I just had a chance to work with Brinke Stevens on my new movie, so I just watched her first directorial effort in Sorority Babes 2. So that's awesome.
I love that. Hello, John. Thank you. Yeah.
John's a fantastic director of his own right, fine screenwriter. So yeah, it's he can bring the noise.
I love that. Well, thank you for watching, John. I hope you enjoyed it.
Let's see. Let's see. And he's also commenting about the grind. It is, a lot of people, it's funny because, I'm listening to you tell your story, and a lot of times people think it's just all glamorous, it's, Hollywood is all glamorous. Like to me, like when you watch movies about movie stars, right, or movie actors, and you sit there and you just shake your head going like, I'm in this business, but that's not the business that I'm in,
Yeah, even when it is all glamorous, it's not. I mean, there's still that grind. It's funny because I was actually talking to someone about it recently, where it's like the more the bigger I get and the more like I get recognized and stuff, the busier I am and the harder I grind and the more I work and the more effort I put in and the more motivation I have to like be like, okay, well, I was busy 6 hours a day. Now I'm busy 12 hours a day. And this is all shit that like is just coming into me and I'm very lucky for. But it's one of those things where it's like I definitely find that the bigger I get, the busier I get, which I'm very lucky for. And the harder I work, the more effort I have to put in, because I have to make sure I'm on my fucking A game, compared to like when I'm not, as like when I used to just do, like years ago when I used to do extra roles, you don't have to show up and be the star, but now you show up and I'm this, like I'm one of the stars in this movie, or one of the lead or supporting roles. So it puts that much more pressure on, I believe.
But that's what you want, though. You know, that's
Oh
what you're
yeah,
working for.
1,000%. Yes, all
It,
day. Let's do it.
yeah. It's like that. You're absolutely right. You know, I had a friend of mine telling me about a co-star of his, and you know, and his star is on the rise as well. And he's like, you know, he says, "What's it like?" He goes, "What like?" You know, like, you know, getting to know, you know, getting bigger parts and whatnot. He says, "Honestly, I don't know, because I can't stop enough to really to think about it, to comprehend it, because I'm too busy working, you know."
I've talked to a few different friends who are in that same boat, and along with me, where it's like when people ask, "Oh, like how does it feel to like be in this and do that and da da da?" And I'm like, well, I mean, that was a couple years ago, and I'm still doing other shit, and like I'm working on the grind, and I don't even realize, because I'm so busy with the stuff that I have and the things that I have come up. Like I just booked something yesterday that's tomorrow. You know what I mean? So it's like I have to learn those lines. I have to do that. I have a screening tonight at UTA that I'm going to for my friend's new movie called, oh God, what is it called? Joyride. Chris Pang is starring in it. So he's one of my besties. Love him. If you want to check it out.
Definitely.
So I'm going to see that tonight for a screening at UTA. And it's like, there's so many different things that I come up last minute with working, that it keeps you so busy that you really don't even realize that like you have shit going on. Like I get excited for like 5 minutes, then I'm like, I gotta go. Like I gotta get shit done. Sorry.
You know, it's funny. I remember I was going to do an interview with somebody, and all of a sudden they got offered a chance to go and work at the Oscars.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and I'm going like, you know, that's, you know, and like they posted pictures, and at first you're sitting there going like, that's your job. I mean, you know, because you're all dressed up and glamorous, and you know, and they had their picture taken and everything else, and it's like, yes, that's what you do. Like when, you know, when we go watch a screening of a movie, we go there to relax, watch the movie, and just, you know, just like, yeah, kick back with popcorn and a soda.
Mm-hmm.
When you go, it's work.
Yeah,
It's not it's
it's
not it's
work.
not it's not fun, is it? All the time you're there, you're going like, I'd like to be home doing, doing a self tape, but it's important that you're there at the social events as well. It's being seen, having your picture taken. Hopefully, you get there and say, "Is this going to be? Are you going to be able to use this in whatever, in a magazine or a website?" Because you want to get their name out there. The more you're seen, the better it is for you, and it's work. People don't see it as that, but it really is that way, isn't it?
It is work. It's funny that you say that, because I was actually talking to someone else again the other day about this, where like I think I was FaceTiming them while I was getting my makeup or hair done or something, and I was like, this is my job. I was like, I'm sitting here getting pampered while I'm like learning my lines, and I'm FaceTiming my friend, and like I'm getting paid to like chill and do whatever I want. And like the lucky thing about actors is, by all means, you have to bring a professional vibe, by all means. But you do have a little bit more leeway with like your creative process. When you're in your mind and your creative process, you get to go about it how you want to. It's not like in school when they're like, oh, you have to write down and you have to do it this way. Like acting is its own. You have so many actors I know have so many different processes for how they learn lines, how they go about getting to their character, about how they get into character, about how they feel about what they do, how they react. So it's lucky in that form, but it's also like I do love the fact that like I just get to get dressed up and look fabulous and get pictures taken of me, and I get paid for shit like that. I'm not mad at that.
John comes back and he says, Audrey, I thought Brink had a good cast to work with. Yes, let's talk a little bit about Sorority Babes. So you got the part, they called you, you got straight, you went straight from, basically they gave you the role.
Yes.
What's the term you use?
Straight to offer.
Straight to offer. That means they didn't bother, going through, 3 or 4 audition rounds. It's just like, we want you. Do you want this? Then and then, so was this the first time that you'd ever met any of the cast? Michelle Bauer, Brinke Stevens, or Kelli Maroney? Did you know any of them before you walked on the set?
I did not know anyone before I walked on the set. It is funny because actually a movie, I did know one of the actresses through a friend of another co-star of mine from another project. So like I saw that she was on the cast list and I was hanging out with a co-star from one of my projects, or like I had been talking to him and I was like, oh my God, like, aren't you guys on this show together? And they were on a show together. And I was like, okay, so I have some kind of connection, but otherwise, no, I went in and we all lived together for about like 7 or 8 days, I believe. So like we all lived like literally in the same house, the whole cast did. But no, I didn't know anyone prior to going in, but it was really fun. Everyone was super accommodating. Everyone was super professional. Everyone got their job done. I mean, I don't think we did more than like 3 takes per like scene. Like we would get like a close up, a wide shot, and a 2 shot and be like done. And like I loved working with Brinke. She was absolutely fantastic to work with. She is one of my favorite people because she's just absolutely so sweet and so like open to letting you do what you want creatively. And if she likes it, she's like, keep doing that. I like what you're doing. You know what I mean? And she's awesome and she's sweet as pie. Absolutely.
I gotta stop for 1 second here.
Yeah.
Gotta welcome in our good friend Jim Heffernan. He is also yet another film director, another screenwriter.
Hello.
Yes, he is based in Boston, and his movies are awesome as well. Thank you for coming in, Jim.
Thank you.
Lately,
Hello.
it's funny. It's like lately, within the last 6 weeks or so, I'm starting to see more and more directors and screenwriters and artists come in to the show, which is really cool to me because I mean I'm doing something right.
Yes, you are. I mean, I love talking to you. This is fantastic. So it was going to be my first interview, but then unfortunately we had to reschedule because I booked something. And this is now my second interview, but it's my first live video interview. So
yeah, that's funny. This is how the job works, right? Because we were scheduled to do the show on the 5th. But
yes.
Hollywood being Hollywood, and this happens all the time, doesn't it? It does happen all the time. You were so apologetic too. You're like, oh, I messed this up, because they switched your shooting time. You're making a commercial,
yes.
and you were doing a 10 to 2, and and then they said, well, they changed it to the 1 to 5. I'm so sorry. But you know what? We're used to that. Anybody who's been doing this does interview actors for like I'm doing. That's part of it. That's part of the game.
They know the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, thank you so much for being so understanding. But it's like I've told friends where like I'll be like, hey, I booked this. Like I actually had a wedding to go to on Friday, and I texted him and I was like, hey, I'm so sorry. I already got your presents. They're actually right back there. Already got your presents. I can't make it though because I got booked for filming and I'm like, I can't skip out on that. That's what we're out here for. I'm not out here to go to weddings. I'm out here to work. You know what I mean? So
have people reacted? Did people reacted to you like when you tell them that? Do they understand that or do they get hurt feelings sometimes?
So he's an actor. He's a fellow actor. So he was like, congratulations, do your thing. I totally understand that. He would have never gotten upset about that. Josh Marble, he's amazing. Check out his stuff. He's actually writing some stuff that's going to be really amazing too. So hopefully that gets to come out here soon. But he was super understanding. But I have had friends who don't understand like the hard work and drive, like they're out here to act, but they bartend and they don't necessarily care, or they do other stuff, like they do something else. But like I've had friends where I'll text them and I'll be like, hey, I'm so sorry, I can't go out tonight. Got a self-tape. Like this, like I this is my work. I have to do this. And they literally will text me back and be like, oh, get it done really quick and then come out. And it's like, that's not how it works. Like, I'm going to devote my time to this. And then if I do have time after, I'll let you know. But it's one of those things where, like, I've lost friends. A lot of people have been cut out of my life in the past couple years because of things like that.
Yeah, it's a demanding life. It's not an easy life. You go where the work takes you. It's not just like, it's not a hobby. It's
Mhm.
like, I can do this whenever I can. It's not a 9 to 5 either.
It's
Um,
not. And I don't think a lot of people understand that when it comes to it, because it's like you have to pretty much be ready and available for whenever, because otherwise someone else is going to be right there ready and available for it as well. Like, I actually got offered a role the other day, did not see the message for about 3 hours, and it was just because I was out running errands and doing stuff, and I was just like, oh, like I just didn't look at my phone. I replied back to him and I was like, oh yeah, I'm available, and literally they were like, sorry, we just booked it like 5 minutes ago. We
yeah.
didn't hear back. And I was like, I understand completely, because that's what happens, but it's one of those things where you have to be ready at any time and available at any time. Like, I actually almost missed out on my sister's wedding because of the movie I did in Yosemite. So that that was interesting because I literally flew. I actually left set early. They let me take one day off from the rest of the cast, and I left set early, missed the wrap party, and I flew back to Ohio for my sister's wedding, missed her rehearsal dinner, but then made it by the skin of my teeth to the wedding.
When you got onto the set of Sorority Babes, did you watch the movie beforehand? The first one, did you watch it beforehand, or did you just walk onto the set pretty much?
Walked onto the set. I had a lot of lines to memorize, and I got like a 3-day heads up, and it was the week of my birthday. So like, and it was funny because I had like a birthday party planned and like all this shit planned, and like I was like, cool, canceling all that because I'm gonna be in Ohio filming. So no, I didn't get a chance to watch it because I was just like already bogged down with a lot of work, especially having all the lines I had to memorize. Like, I know Kelli Maroney hit me up after the fact of watching it at our screening, and she was like, I give you so much props for I didn't realize how much you carried the scenes with the dialogue. Like, you had so much dialogue. And I was like, thank you so much, coming from a legend like you. That's like amazing. You know what I mean? So
Isn't Kelly? Is Kelli Maroney as sweet as she appears to be? I think so.
sweeter. She's sweeter than she appears to be. She's like just like a bucket of sugar. She's so sweet. She's absolutely so nice, so great to work with, so professional. Like her and Brinke, I didn't work with the other actress. I am blanking on her name right now.
Michelle Bauer.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. I was like, I'm blanking because I didn't work with her. I only met her at the screening, actually. So she was absolutely fabulous too. She was super, super nice. But working with Kelli and Brinke was absolutely fabulous. Oh, also, we have a book signing on April 20, no, a book signing, a DVD signing on April 24th at Dark Delicacies. Me, Brinke, Michelle, and Jessie Gill are going to be there. And we are going to be signing DVDs and pictures if you guys would like to come by.
Will this be your first time that you've been to Dark Delicacies?
Yes, it will be.
Yeah, it's a fantastic place.
I heard that. Like, I've heard that from a couple different people recently, like that I've talked about the signing with, that they're all like, Dark Delicacies is awesome, da da da. And I'm like, I'm really excited to go because I've never been. So it's a DVD store?
It's everything store. It's
I love that.
It's all horror. They have props, they have figures, they have books, they have films, they have mask. I mean, it's just an amazing store. It's an amazing place. The legacy is very strong. They used to have, I like to think they still do. I want to say they have like either 2 or 3 times a year. They basically have a little convention within the store itself. and they'll
Okay,
invite,
cool.
and they also have special days that are designed for screen queens. Like they'll have screen queens out there, specifically for that, and they'll
Okay,
have one
cool.
or two. Yeah, it's amazing place. Now, did you have to do anything? I know the movie got a little sassy. Did you have to get a little sassy for this movie? And is this the first time?
Sassy in like, as in my character being sassy.
Like risque scenes.
Risque. Okay, I wasn't sure which way you were going with that one, so I wanted to clarify. Yes, I actually was told it was going to be slightly different. I was told it was only going to be topless, not fully nude, but it is what it is, and we did it. And Brink made us feel very comfortable. Well, actually, the entire team made us feel super comfortable during it. So it was one of those things. The entire team was super professional. It was a closed set. I mean, the minute we weren't filming, they got our robes back on us. Everyone on that set was actually amazing to work with. Like, I can't think of like one person who I would be like, oh God, no. Like, everyone was absolutely wonderful to work with the utmost professionalism. It was really nerve-wracking to see myself that on a huge screen naked. I was like next to two of my guy friends in the theater, and I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this. I was like,
Now be honest, when they were sitting on the side of you, when they said yes, did you throw elbows?
no, because I mean, my guy friends, I love them. It was funny because neither of them have ever seen me naked because they're my good guy friends. But like, literally, he looked at me and he was like, "Dude, I just got to fucking see you naked. Like, that's amazing." And I was like,
Well,
I hate you right now.
You're safe when he calls you dude.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I think
we've been besties. Actually, his name's Justin Bernandez. He's a very, very talented artist. If you like R&B or anything along those lines, he is actually a TikToker. Love him to death, though. He does R&B, and he also makes like parody raps of like what people would sound like if they made a rap together. Like if Migos and Drake did a rap together, or if like, I can't think of anyone right now at this particular moment, but like he does a lot of parodies like that. He's really, really talented. If you want to look him up, Justin Bernandez, he's absolutely fabulous, but he's one of my best friends. And yeah, he came to my screening and he was like, dude, I get to see you naked. Like, I just saw you naked for the first time. And it was just funny because I think if it would have been like edited more to what I knew was happening or was comfortable with, it was the first time really seeing it. I would have been cool with that. But also, I do have another scene. I have a sex scene that I went topless for my next movie called Vengeance. And I've seen that one, and I'm actually kind of obsessed with it. So this one I'm like stoked to see. Huge.
Did it help though? Did it help you with that, knowing that Brink Stevens herself has done that a lot in her career? Did that make it easy for you?
It made it a lot more comfortable, and it made it be like, okay, well, this woman has done this, and she's fucking awesome and self-empowered and fucking badass and a legend. Like, she's a legend. Like, let's call it what it is. Yeah. And she made us feel so comfortable on set. Like, I know that there was one part where there was another scene where they wanted me to be topless, and I had talked to her about it, and I was like, I don't necessarily want to. And she's like, okay, we'll do what you're comfortable with. And I was like, you're so sweet. Like, I love you. And it all worked out. You know what I mean? So I ended up being in a bra and underwear, which I'm totally cool with because like that doesn't bother me.
Now, have you had to die on screen yet?
Every time.
Oh. What's harder to play, death scenes or the sex scenes or nude scenes? What's harder for you as an artist? I mean, is it easier as far as your character goes? Is it more nerve-wracking? Is it more nerve-wracking doing a kissing scene, or more nerve-wracking being killed?
Kissing scenes don't bother me. I literally look at it as such work. Like, I'm one of those people, I go in, like, people will be like, oh, how was the kiss? And I'll be like, I don't remember. because I was working. Like I was doing I was in as a character. My character remembers it, but I don't. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole, I always, I never really get stressed out about that. That's one thing where I'm like, I just go in, and normally everyone I've ever had like a kissing scene with, like, has been just absolutely amazing and super sweet and like very comfortable. And like Alex, who I had like the movie Vengeance that I filmed in Yosemite, my co-star was Alex Reese, and he made me feel so comfortable. Give or take, he was a few years younger than me. He still made me feel so comfortable, and I never felt like unsafe at any point in any way, shape, or form. And it, like, I luckily never felt like that on set. Everyone's always made me feel super comfortable. If anything, I'm more a little like, oh, I don't give a fuck, everyone's already seen me naked. But they're like, no, put your robe on, make sure you're covered up, da 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 da. And I'm like, dude, everyone just saw me naked, why does it even matter at this point? But it's one of those things for like comfort level of everybody, including myself. But
I think that's actually pretty amazing. I mean, because I think that's pretty amazing. Because I think, do you think sometimes, like, because it is sort of, especially if it's gratuitous, is that make you sort of pissed off a little bit, as a little bit, like you have to do a news scene and you come out of it, and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. But is there some anger behind that, Audrey? Like knowing that, okay, here I'm doing this, but at the same time, it's like, did I really have to do this? I'm looking at the character, and it's like, did my character really have to do this? Why is this? And the fact of the matter is that there's nude scenes being shot still is amazing, because nudity in movies is really like, it's like comedy. It's vanishing. It's less and less every year.
Well, it's funny that you say that, because I actually, from what I've at least seen lately, at least TV shows, I feel like are going way more in the new direction, because I've seen a lot more risque shit on TV shows recently. But I mean, I almost missed out on the job for Sorority Babes, because I was like, there's 2 girls nude already in this scene. I was like, what's a third one? I was like, they already agreed to it. Why do I have to? I was like, I'll take the pay cut. I don't give a fuck. But then they were like, okay, it seems like this isn't going to work out. So I was like, shit, I guess I have to do this if I want the role. So I've kind of learned that, I mean, nudity is just going to come with the job, and I'm okay with it as long as it's for the role. For Sorority Babes, it was kind of unnecessary, I personally find, in my eyes, but it's one of those things where we do what we do at the start of our careers, you know what I mean? Vengeance, on the other hand, for that sex scene, I talked about it with the director into a vast, like, me and the director really, really talked about it, like went deep dive into it, and that was necessary for the role. So that was okay, and it's so quick, and I look really good in it, so I was like, I'm totally okay. I was like, I'm cool with this one, I don't care. It's actually a really great scene, because I'm like I lose any innocence I have, and I turn purely evil. So it's a really good moment for my character in that. But like, as far as like girls showering naked together, I didn't really find it necessary to have me in there with it, but it's one of those things where I wouldn't have had the role otherwise. So yeah, I definitely wasn't the happiest, but I'm grateful still for the role and for being a part of it, for sure. And I made some great friends. I love, like, Katie O'Neal, Jesse Gill, Nathan Blair, Justin Lupo. Like, I've met a lot of amazing people at like co-stars out of it. So, and like, we're all still friends. Like, a couple of them are moving out here, and they all hit me up and they're like, hey, so where should I move? Da da da. Where can I do this? Where can I do that? And I'm like, I love you. You're like, so I've gotten lucky enough for that. But I never actually answered your one question: kissing scenes or death scenes. I don't think either are difficult, and I don't get stressed about either of them. I suck at playing dead. At actually like playing dead, like my eyes flicker and I can't not breathe. Like, I have asthma too, so it just doesn't work for me. And I know that like in another movie that I have coming out called No Tears in Hell, I watched a clip of it, and in it it's like VFX Audrey's eye twitching. And I'm like, yep, yeah, because I'm supposed to be dead right there, and I'm not. Like, that's honestly my least favorite thing is playing dead. Dying, I think I'm a pretty good dyer. I know how to die. But when it comes to actually playing dead, no.
I want to go and make sure. I don't know if I knew that or not.
My cat decided to join us and say hi. This is little guy.
Hey, little guy.
Hi. He's a baby.
I want to. I have another question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I knew that. I think probably so, right? Let's talk a little bit about that because I'm excited for that.
About No Tears in Hell?
No Tears in Hell. That's finally going to make it out to the light of day, I think.
Oh, yes, 100%. That actually, we're either going to, our goal is to either, hi, he wants to be part of it. I told you, he likes to be part of anything that's in front of a ring light. He's like, hello.
I'm telling you.
What's up?
Cats equal ratings.
Yeah. We got our little kitties, our little cheetahs over here.
That's right.
So No Tears in Hell is actually either probably, depending, it's either going to premiere at South by Southwest next year or Sundance.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and luckily Vengeance might as well. So I have both of those on the horizon for Sundance. So I'm praying to God that I get to have 2 movies in Sundance next year because I think I would have a heart attack.
I just had a new filmmaker just premiered her movie at South by Southwest to great acclaim. That's really cool. And Sundance is that's the ultimate. Sundance.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's funny because I was gonna go this year, and then as I was planning my trip and everything, I had both my directors from 2 different movies be like, hey, we're submitting to Sundance next year, So I think we might be going. Just I wanted to give you a heads up a year in advance because a lot of people like to do that. And I was like, oh shit, if I have 2 possible movies going there next year, maybe I should just wait it out until I actually have a movie there. Because I was just going, my friend had invited me and kind of had an in for me. So I was like, oh, perfect, I'll go and network or something. But then when I found out that my movies were going to be in it, I was like, I'd much rather go when I have my movies there.
I'm excited for No Tears in Hell because your director and screenwriter is Michael Cassie.
I love him. He's one of my favorite people.
Me too.
He's absolutely fabulous. He was a wonderful director to work with. Made me feel super comfortable. Made me push myself in the correct way, when it came to getting to where I needed to be. Because I had a lot of really gruesome scenes. And
do directors still do that now, Audrey? Do they actually? It seems like most directors see. I have some questions here. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Hold on here. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. Let me get those questions right here. I want to say hi to Eden, who's in the room, and Krubby, how are you? And then she wants to know. Let's see, did she?
I might be turning you here momentarily.
Yeah, I don't. Can you rephrase that, Eden? Your question? Did you play If She Screams?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to. A lot of times they do it on the phones. And you know how phones are. God.
Yeah. Did you play If She Screams? Yes, I was in If She Screams. I was Becca in If She Screams. And that's on Amazon Prime.
Get that. Let's see. Trying to get that movie you played to get an autograph.
Yes, I'm just going to plug in my iPad right now because my iPad tends to lose charge very quickly. So 2 seconds. I'm so sorry.
No problem. I want to say hi to Walter. Hi, how are you? Glad you're here. Let's see. And yes, I'll ask that question as well. And right, for sure.
Okay. And I'm just refilling my coffee just because We're
Yes.
talking and we're doing it all.
Coffee is life.
I'm definitely a coffee girl. I have to have coffee at like pretty much any waking hour until I'm done working.
I knew there's a reason why we loved you.
Sorry?
I knew there's a reason why we loved you, because you love coffee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My little coffee addict self.
Coffee
Yes,
plus company.
I have myself plugged in now. I'm gonna
Coffee
fix it a little bit.
All right, so here we go. Walter Jones says, "Hello, Audrey." And then then we have another question. Do you collect movies? Do you collect movies of VHS or music albums? Yeah. Do you collect it? Do you collect your own movies? Do you have your own? Every movie that you've done. Do you have a copy of that for yourself?
I actually don't. I mean, I have them bought on like streaming services and stuff. I don't collect my own movies. That's a good thing that I should probably do. But I have, so I used to have like 1,000 item DVD collection, but I had a falling out with a roommate at one point, and all like I would say like 600 of them got stolen. And then it kind of whittled a little bit during moves. But I still do have about like, I'd say 150 DVDs in my collection. And I have everything from like Wedding Crashers to The Girl Next Door to Zoolander, Ghostbusters, Pineapple Express, Moulin Rouge, American Beauty, The Day After Tomorrow, Wicker Park, Bad Teacher, Van Wilder, Wedding Crashers, Dude, Where's My Car, Pirates of the Caribbean. I have a bunch of randoms.
Yeah. Perfect Saturday night popcorn type movies.
Exactly. I'm a huge comedy girl. I love comedy. I do like fucked up sci-fi horror stuff, but I like if I really lean back on something, it's definitely comedy.
Did you get to watch Michael's other movies, Hunter's Moon and Hangman?
I have not yet. I need to. He knows I haven't. Sorry, Michael. I love you. I just haven't yet. I have so much to catch up on. Like,
so I told you the story about how him and I met. With when I shot myself in the foot. Was still one of my very favorite stories. Of all the stories I've gotten so far since I've done this, that's probably like top 3 to me. It's one of the best. But I love Hangman so much. Hangman is a great movie. It's a fantastic movie.
I need to watch it.
Hunter's Moon is also very, very good. I just, I keep, I'm excited to see, No Tears in Hell. I know it's been, in the process for a little while. Did it surprise you when you got into movies, when you started actually, when you got on set? Did it surprise you to see how long it took from when you walked onto the set to when it finally hit the big screen? Like you mentioned 2 movies that are coming out next year. Like it's March. Why can't they come out this year? But they won't release until next year.
I've learned very fast that acting is a waiting game, and not only in the audition process, but in the while you're on set process, after set process, while you're going to festivals, while you're waiting for release. So I filmed Teacher of the Year in like 2012, I believe, and it didn't really hit festivals and theaters until about 2014, 2015. I filmed If She Screams in 2018, and it didn't come out until 2020, I believe. I filmed State of Consciousness in 2019, and it just came out in 2023. It's pretty much, it's all post-production stuff because of editing, color, sound, all that jazz, distribution, finance, where it's going to be, what it's going to be streamed on. So it all just makes it difficult.
It's amazing. It's amazing how long the process takes.
It's a crazy process. Like that's why I'm like, I appreciate the acting side, because there's so much more to the technical side that like I give all the producers and editors and directors and DPs and first ADs and all of those people. I give you so many props, because that is so much work. It's so much work. Like the fact of what they go into for editing and music rights and this and that. It's like, I've seen a clip of No Tears in Hell, and they said there's still so much to do on it. You know what I mean? So, but I'm really excited for that one. That's Luke Baines, Tatiana Marjanovic, me, Audrey Neal,
That's right.
Eric
No, Tatiana.
Fellows,
Tatiana.
and Gabby Archambault.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so excited for Michael as well. He'll be coming up. He'll be coming up, hanging out with us in April, and we're going to talk
Yay!
about No Tears in Hell and his new novel that he just published. Let's see. Got some more comments here. Some questions. Edwin wants to know if he can get an early birthday shout out. April 18th is coming up soon. So
of course. Who is it? I can't see the chat anymore. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, his name is Eden.
Eden, happy birthday from me to you. I love you, and I hope it's absolutely wonderful. And thank you so much for coming onto our show and hearing everything we have to talk about. Love you and happy birthday. What birthday is it? When we see it, I'll make sure to shout out an extra little number happy birthday for you.
That's right. Let's see. You're good, Star-Lord. See, Walter Jones has a question. What was the hardest thing of breaking into the film industry for you?
Knowing my role in it, if that makes sense. Like when you first start acting, you see yourself how you want to see yourself. Other people see you how everyone else sees you. So that's something I learned really quick. Just like I needed to really dive into the role of what people saw me as opposed to thinking that I'm good for this when I wasn't, if that makes sense. And also the hardest thing that I think it is people are afraid to ask for what they want. Let me back that up. You need to be qualified for when you ask for what you want. But if you're qualified and you have the talent and the drive and the motivation to back it up, ask for what you want. I have gotten so many roles and learned so much and networked so much and made so many amazing connections to people for different things and different movies that I just asked for. I was just like, hey, may I have this opportunity to read for this role or audition for this movie? And half the time I've been handed it because I asked for it. You know what I mean? And I do have the talent and the drive to back it up. Like everyone always does check out my work and sees my reel and stuff like that. But also making sure you have the drive and motivation for it. I've seen so many people. It's really easy to get sucked into a different world when you're just trying to make money as like a coming up actor. You can get sucked into something else. And if this is what you really want to do, you have to put 24 hours a day, 7 days a week into it. Even if it's a struggle, you just have to sacrifice. Sacrifices are probably the biggest thing because you have to sacrifice a lot. Friends, time, family, being what you want, like where you want to be, eating what you want to eat. Like there are times as a struggling actor where I've been like, cool, ramen it is for me tonight, So it's just one of those things, making sacrifices and making friend sacrifices too. Friend sacrifices are hard because you realize a lot if you have the drive and the motivation as I did. It's one of those things where I've lost a lot of friends because of it, because they don't.
It's a very demanding profession.
It's a very demanding profession, and you always got to be on top of it. It's one of those things, if you're not, like, you won't be successful, unfortunately.
So you got some more. Let's see if I got some more questions here. Adam mentions he's got tons of horror movies. What do you see? What kind of actress do you see yourself? Do you see yourself a leading lady? Do you see yourself as a screen queen? How do you see yourself? I see you as leading lady material.
Leading lady, for sure. I'll take that 100%. Like, yeah. I actually just watched like Hunger Games, and I'm like, damn, why did I get to audition for Katniss Everdeen? I wasn't broken into the industry yet, so I understand why. But it's like that kind of stuff, or Charlie's Angels.
I love Jennifer Lawrence, but I would have so loved to see you in Jenna Malone's role.
Jenna Malone's role. Oh, wait, are you talking about the new Hunger Games?
Yeah, the new Hunger. You're talking about the trilogy that came out?
Yes.
Yeah. I would see you more as the Jenna Malone type.
Which one did she play?
Oh God,
I'm terrible with names. It's something I really need to get better with.
This is a badass. Anybody
That's
know?
I'm down with that. I as long as it's badass, like I definitely see myself as a leading lady, like rom-coms and stuff. I would absolutely love to do. I mean, I Scream Queen. I can't actually scream. I like can yell, but I can't like that like high pitch like I can't do that. I've never been able to. Just something that I've not like I can't hit a Mariah Carey note to save my life.
Wow, I don't think very many people can do that either.
Yeah, but
maybe Christina Aguilera is probably the only person I can think of.
It's crazy how some scream queens can really get it up there and like do that like curdling yell. I'm more of like if I think of like a scream queen that I would compare myself with is like Samara Weaving in Ready or Not.
Right.
Love that movie.
Or Mayhem or Guns Akimbo. See, I think Samara and Jenna are one and the same type of actress. They both played the same type of roles. Yeah, I don't see either one of them as screen queens. I just see them as badasses.
Yeah, badass leading ladies. Like that's exactly what I want. Because I like scream queen. I just don't want to limit myself because I want to have a range. Like I want to challenge myself to do all different kinds of roles between comedy, drama, thriller, action, really deep, really dark. But to also really light and really happy. I like all of it. It's one of those things like you can catch me watching everything from like Tropic Thunder to Hunger Games to Upload to all like I watch so many different genres. Like right now I'm watching The Society on Netflix, which they need to bring that back. Great show. Not really horror, but definitely thriller sci-fi.
I was just thinking about you're on the set of Sorority Babes, and there you go. Here's a perfect contrast.
Yes, exactly. It's a very, very contrasting.
Yeah, Brinke Stevens has always been known as the screen queen, but Kelli Maroney, she's always been seen as a leading lady actress.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where it's like, I mean, I would be okay with either one, obviously, but leading lady would definitely be my preferred, just for the fact of like I would like to go with a bunch of different genres if possible.
Let's see. Catch up here again. Yes. Oh, here's a good question. If Audrey could play either Harley Quinn or Supergirl, who would she pick?
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Harley Quinn's great.
Harley Quinn, hands down. I actually, it's on my Instagram, but I played. Actually, I'll pull it up really quick. I did Harley Quinn for Halloween not long ago. I will show it really quick on my Insta because it's actually right here because I reposted it not long ago for Halloween. So if you can see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, did a little Harley Quinn. I like her psycho, weird, fucked up personality. I would love to play something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I see myself as the innocent leading sweet role, but I also love the deeper, more conflicting roles. Like there's nothing more I love than a role that makes you, like the audience, you watching it feel conflicted. Like I was just watching Breaking Bad and like you feel fucked up about rooting for Walt because he's over here making meth and killing people, but then you're like, I totally root for him. So, and you root for Jesse, who's a little meth head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I love, there's something so powerful about making the audience feel conflicted because I think it also is a relatable thing where they're like, wow, the human, like the whole part about being human is making mistakes. And like being real and being wrong.
Funny. I have never watched that show. It's funny that you mentioned it because I've never watched that show, but I've seen clips of Aaron Paul, so I knew his name. I knew he's, and so when I saw his name on certain movies, I pick up the movies just to see what his acting. That's how I found him through Breaking Bad without seeing a single episode. And
my God, assignment you have to watch.
Which one?
You have an assignment. You have to watch it over the next. I'll give you like 6 months to a year to watch it, but you have to watch it over the next year.
I think I got 2 of the 4 seasons. I got to find the other 2, which I will.
Oh, they're all on Netflix right now.
I don't stream.
Oh, you don't stream.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
you're like
so,
the
I,
I like the classic OG status. That's a
yeah,
vibe. I like that.
I am totally all about the physical media.
I love
Um,
that. Honestly, I used to be the same way, and then once my DVD collection got stolen, it
so,
was just kind of out the window for me.
we're gonna have to do something about that. We're gonna have to get your address or your PO box or stuff, and then put that out
Yeah,
there.
you guys can all send me different
Yeah,
DVDs that you want
right.
me to watch, and you can write
I,
little notes, and
I
I'd be
know.
happy to like talk to you guys.
I know that Jim Heffernan can send out some cool films. He's made 3 really great movies. And I know John Dalton, if he's still in here, I know he's made a couple of really fine movies as well. So I know we can get you some movies set your way.
I would love
Let's
that.
see. Audrey, I can hear the passion in your voice and your chosen profession. I can't wait to see what work you have coming up. Quick
Thank.
question: what is your favorite genre to act in?
Ooh, I'm gonna go. I actually really like acting in horror. It's really challenging, and it's really like I've been put in these positions that like most people when I come off set, like the makeup artist or one of the DPs or something will come up to me and be like, "Oh my god, how did you just do that? Did you feel so uncomfortable? Or are you okay?" Da da da. And I'm like, I had so much fun doing that because it's something that like I would never have gotten to do. But I really like horror. But I will say I love comedy, so I'm gonna bring it back to comedy. And like I haven't really had a true like romantic lead situation yet or an action lead situation yet. So those are the two I'm looking forward to most. Cause like I haven't all like everyone who I've had like romantic interest with on screen and stuff like that. Might have to switch my charger here momentarily. Because it's like going, it says it's charging, but it's going down, which doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'm gonna switch my charger here momentarily, but I will finish this question. But the two things that I really, really want to do, actually the three things, sci-fi. I love, 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 love sci-fi. Like if I could get on Upload season 3, dying to do something like that because I find I mean it combines comedy, which is my favorite, with sci-fi, with futuristic stuff. I love futuristic stuff. I love post-apocalyptic stuff. Something like The Walking Dead would be amazing, or The Society, which is very Lord of the Flies. I want them to bring back season 2 so bad. Netflix unfortunately canceled it.
Yeah.
But that, and then romantic interest lead, like a fun rom-com or anything that has to do with like a full love story. I've always wanted to do that because I find those so interesting, and I find them like, so everyone relates to it. Everyone loves, everyone has relationships. So it's one of those things I want people to be able to relate to it. And if they need some kind of thing to reach out to or feel relatable to and make them feel better about their lives in any way, shape, or form, it can. And I love that about that. Sometimes I watch rom-coms and certain things for that specific reason. But I'm just going to grab my charger really quick because this
Sure.
one is not working.
I'll get you out of here. I only got a couple more questions.
I'm on 3%. It went from like 10 to 3, so just 2 seconds. I want to. I'm so sorry.
Thank you guys in the chat for hanging out. We're gonna get to everybody's questions before we end the stream for sure. The cheetah. Oh my gosh, are you acting crazy?
We got it. Okay, we are plugging in now. So sorry about that. I normally would have been a little bit more prepared on this side, but apparently was not.
All right. Oh wow. Thanks, Jim. Yeah, I will let her know.
Hi. Sorry.
Jim says that he's got a few physical copies he can send you. So we'll connect you guys together, and you can get those. He can send those out to you. Highly recommend it. His movies are so much fun.
I would love that. Thank you so much. Yes. I'm always happy. I love checking out new stuff. I love that. Thank you so much. Who was it? I didn't hear.
Let's see. Physical media. Oh, our friend Derek is here. Old school Shinobi. Hi, Derek. How you doing, brother? Physical media rules. Stuff disappears from streaming platforms all the time. Yeah, that's true. Let's see. See, the new Supergirl in the Flash does not look sweet. She looks ready to destroy everything. That she must have been over from Destroy All Sisters. Let's see. Audrey, do you have any free time for podcasts on Instagram? Trying to figure out StreamYard. That's something you guys can talk about for sure.
Yeah, anyone who wants to reach out to me with any like specific after questions, reach out through my Instagram. If I don't respond right away, it goes to my message request. So just like shoot a comment on one of my most recent pictures, and I'll get back to you within the hour or two. I am kind of busy tonight, but I will get back to you. And if you guys want to do podcasts or send me movies or have something for me to sign, I'm more than happy to do any of that for you. Thank you so much. You guys are making me feel so fucking loved over here. Shit.
Yeah,
Thank you. I feel so like I'm like blushing over here. I'm sweating, blushing over here.
But you know what? We'll go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up because you do got to get ready because you got a screening tonight. So we're definitely gonna do respect your time.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to leave here in like 20-30 minutes, so I'll be good.
Okay, we're gonna be out of here. I want to thank you guys for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. This has been awesome. I hope you enjoy talking to Audrey as much as I have. I already know you guys have. And she'll come back and hang out with us.
Definitely, 100%. I mean, this is my first live video interview, so like Patrick, like we're gonna have to do this like yearly or something for updates on all my shit that I got going on.
Oh, definitely will. Just promising that when their star does go and you do launch, just remember us. You know, a small journalist guys over here.
You're not a small journalist in my heart. You're the number one.
There are so many people lately that I've been talking to on this show that have suddenly just blossomed. It's insane.
I think is it like your magic touch over here, Patrick? Like,
I don't
it
know
just
what
like
it
the
is.
fact that like you and your cheetah are like, hey.
all I know is that today I found out that a friend who the show who's been on the show a couple of times and we've become friends. She got cast in an Eli Roth movie, and then a movie director whose movie I absolutely love, Ash Clark. She's going to direct her second feature film. I just got that.
What was her name?
Today. Ash Clark, Ashleen Clark.
Ashleen Clark. Okay, cool. I'm gonna definitely look both of them up.
She did a movie called The Devil's Doorway, which I've talked about ad nauseum on my channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've heard about that before, probably through you.
Yes. I'm a big champion of that. And so I've just been hearing more and more good news every time, from all the people who have been on the show. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm just going to hope that continues. I want to
thank you. I hope so too. Hopefully, I got 2 films in Sundance next year. I saw someone wanted to make a movie with me on this chat, so by all means, reach out. Like,
Jim Heffernan and John Oak Dalton for sure. They are legit. We also have some professional critics on here. Our friend Upside Dan, he's a professional film critic. Of course, Walter Jones, he's my collecting buddy. Him and I talk about collections all the time. There's a lot of great people on the stream tonight.
I love that. Casey. Thank you guys for joining in. I appreciate you wanting to come hear me talk about me. Thank you.
All right, guys. We're going to be back at it tomorrow. We're back at it tomorrow. We have Angel Bradford will be back to visit us tomorrow, and that's another example of an actress who is here. She is an excellent actress and very much in demand. She's also a makeup artist, special effects expert. She will be here tomorrow night at 8:00. Just crazy fun, talented lady. Can't wait to talk to her again. Thank you guys.
I'll have to peek in for a minute.
Oh yeah, you'll love Angel. You'll probably end up working with her sooner than later. Seriously,
I would love that. Seriously. It's so crazy. By the way, the film world is so small. It's incredible how small it is.
Yeah, I'm blown away by it. I'm blown away at how small it is. You'll be talking and someone says, "Oh yeah, I did something with that person there," and I'm like, "Wow!" I mean, who would ever have thought? But yeah, it's a small world. All right, boys and girls, let me get out of here. And thank you guys so much. Come back and visit us tomorrow night at 8:00. Tell your friends, and we will see you. Audrey, stay right where you're at for 1 second into the chat.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. I love you all. If any of you want to talk personally or anything, by all means, reach out to me. If I don't see your direct request, just comment on one of my things, say that you DM'd me, and I'll get back to you. I would love to talk to my fans. I would love to talk to you guys. It was so wonderful having you all in here. Patrick, it's wonderful talking to you. We got our kitties in here. We're just having a good time. And actually, we were talking about me possibly dropping in on Michael Casey's interview.
That's right. That's what we're gonna try to arrange that to happen. I really like for that to happen. So
I would love to do that. I would love to drop in on that because I absolutely love Michael, and like working with him on No Tears in Hell was one of the most fun things because we were down in Alabama shooting for about, I think, 2 weeks, and it was just like rural Alabama, COVID, and it was just pretty much our entire crew and cast took over the entire hotel. It was really fun.
That's right. That's right. Michael Casey he's a terrific director, terrific screenwriter. I can't wait for that movie to come out.
I'm so excited for it to come out. Like, I cannot wait. The minute I find out, I will let Patrick know so he can let all of you guys know as well. But thank you so much for joining in, and thank you for, like, you guys are making me blush. So thank you. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it. Much love to all of you.
Have a great night, everybody. Oh, that was fun.
It was.